Hey, I'm excited to go over an exercise that I've made a lot of videos on. I just want to explain a little bit more how we can begin to utilize these simplistic movements in the context of integration. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend go checking it out. This is a simple movement. It can begin simply, but then we can go into more or less make it more complicated. But at the end of the day, it just becomes more complete, is really what we're going for. So with this being said, I don't need to explain more other than the movement itself. The movement is a 90-90 position where we are starting on our back, and then we will have a couple different things involved with this. We're going to have our feet on the wall. We're going to have something in between our knees so that we can begin to recognize, our body can begin to recognize different positions for our hips, different positions for our feet, different positions for our arms, so we can begin to understand how this relates to gait and the gait cycle. Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing and talking about different stances, different movements of the legs, along with different positions of our body. So getting into the position and just going to what I would say normally when I'm coaching this movement, I'm going to show you the movement, and then perhaps I'll even do a voiceover so you can start to see this, and I'll also show you from a couple different angles as well. So I'm laying down. A couple things that you can't see probably from that camera angle. My feet are attached to the wall. And then from here, my knees are on, or my calves rather, are on this bench, and my knees are at an even height. I point this out because even when I'm coaching, we want to make our knees uneven while we're going through this movement. All right, so in this 90-90 hip shift, and then as we progress it, you're going to notice that my knees, AKA my femurs, are going to be moving. All right, so from here, I can get into the 90-90 hip lift where my knees are fixed, and then I'm feeling my hamstrings as I bring my butt a little bit off of the ground by maybe even thinking just a quarter of an inch off the ground. So my lower back stays flat to the ground. My hips and my butt essentially will move into a posterior pelvic tilt about a quarter inch off the ground. This assures me that my abdominals that attach my pelvis to my hips, they get closer in approximation because that's where they attach, the rib cage and the pelvis. So I'm using breathing to help facilitate this process, right? My lower back is still on the ground. I'm feeling my abdominals as I do this. My knees did not move position. I didn't go up like this because when I do that, my knees move. My butt moves, yes, but so did my lower back. So again, to reset, I want my knees to stay fixed. My feet are flat against the wall. My butt moves a quarter of an inch. So now that I have this position, I can feel my abdominals. I can feel my hamstrings. From here, I'm going to think about getting something in between my knees. Right now, I have a towel that I can roll up and place between my knees. So my knees are still even. I get this posterior pelvic tilt. So now I'm in a 90-90 hip lift. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this leg to be my anchor leg. So my anchor leg fixes and it's stationary. So I'm going to do this by more or less pulling my right leg downwards. So I'm getting that tension. I'm also going to anchor further by bringing my right leg inwards. So I'm going to adduct. So I feel my groin, my hamstring. Okay. From here, I'm going to think of this knee going up into the ceiling. This right side is going to come down. So there's this unevening, this unbalancing, this shifting that I'm going to achieve. Breathing, and perhaps not that loud as well. I just want to get an easy exhale. I'm just simply demonstrating for the camera. And I'm maintaining tension in this right leg, maintaining tension in this right hamstring, but I'm not kicking on my gastroc, right? My calves. I'm not using my calves to stay tight while I'm on this. So I have this to feel for my gastrocs. Am I using my gastrocs to stabilize? If so, I need to reset, get that hamstring going more than my gastroc, have my feet against the wall, adduct, right leg inwards, in towards the towel. And often you see individuals with the right hand or left hand or some type of arm motion going on. In this case, I'm just going to get my right hand going. up to the ceiling so I can feel my serratus working, which will also stabilize my rib cage on my right side. So I'm getting everything on the right up here. Now I'm going to get the other side. So same idea, hip lift. I'm going to bring this guy, I'm going to anchor this left leg, going to adduct the left leg, left adductor. So I want to maintain tension as I'm performing this exercise in my abdominals so that I can make sure that I'm fixed on this side. As I compress on one side, I'm going to expand on the other. So there's this pressure gradient that I'm using to help shift pressure onto the other side. So this is the hip shift. When I get into the crossover, I'm going to get similar things, all right? Except I'm going to get one thing different at the end. So hip lift, shifting the right leg, anchoring, right? This guy goes up into the air, left leg. But I'm going to now stand on one foot. So I have my right foot pressing against the wall. I feel my right foot pushing. I feel my right arch kicking on because that's how I'm stabilizing. I'm not using my gastrocs. And now this left leg is going to reach to the ceiling. So I'm not merely just kicking my quad into the motion, right? I'm not getting my rec fem going, but I'm getting a hip shift. So if I start like this, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And I can reach my right hand across to my left foot. So if I look at my knees, they are very much uneven. Right? If I bring my leg down, this is lower than this. All I do is extend my quad, my leg, my knee, and then I reach there. Now I get the other side. So reset here. Hip lift. Get my left leg shifting this way. And then I'm going to get my right leg straight. Reach to the ceiling. Anchor even more on the left side. Get my left foot going against the wall. Lower back is still on the ground. I'm going to go into a hip lift. My butt's going to move. So my butt moves this much. My lower back stays flat to the ground. So I'm going to take a good inhale. Stabilizing my ribs, my abdominals that attach to both my rib cage and my pelvis. I'm going to make sure that I don't do this. This is not a 90-90 hip lift. So from here, I can do a hip shift now where I move. I'm stabilizing and anchoring with my right side, right foot touching the wall, getting that mid-stance position. And I'm thinking of my left foot now reaching up to the ceiling. And I reach. And then I switch sides. Anchor the left. Reach with the right. So I'm reaching my right foot to the ceiling, anchoring and stabilizing with my left. So I'm getting the shift.